Hello, I'm Rebecca Ellis, Subject Officer for Film Studies at EDUCAS. This recording is designed to take you through the advance information for EDUCAS, GCSE and GCE Film Studies as published on our EDUCAS website on the 7th of February. Firstly, some context for the decisions that all exam boards have been required to make. We have adhered to the principles agreed by Ofqual and all exam boards in developing advance information. These are that the advance information should not be so detailed that students are able to predict questions or prepare or memorise answers in advance, that the advance information should not be so extensive or specific that it would damage a student's progression to higher level qualifications in the subject, and that it should still be possible to differentiate between students on the basis of their performance. Advance information for AS and A-level film studies identifies the focus of the assessment for all questions in all examined components. Advance information for GCSE film studies identifies the focus of the assessment for all questions in Component 1, Section A, and all questions for Component 2. All exam components at all levels will go ahead in full. As stated in the Advance Notice Summary document published on the EDUCAS website, a good, broad understanding of all the content of the specification is always the best preparation for success in an exam. Teachers and students should bear in mind that prior learning in a key idea or topic area might provide useful knowledge and understanding and be required for students to be able to answer questions fully. This is all the more pertinent in a subject such as film studies because no film studies concept can be studied in complete isolation. As stated in the advance information, students should study the core areas and designated specialist subject areas for all exam components and sections. Students are still encouraged to study key sequences in relation to the key elements of film form and meaning and response for all examined components and sections. This means that the aim should still be to cover all specification content. So, what use is the advance information if you still have to cover everything? The advance information is an aid to focus revision. It identifies areas of content which are suggested as key areas of revision listed in specification order. The bullet points list the key concepts that will form the focus of the assessment. So, for example, if a section lists representation of ethnicity and gender in bullet point 1 and auteur in bullet point 2, the questions will focus on these areas. Therefore, this is the content you should focus your revision on. As you will be aware from published exemplar material and examiners' reports, a Band 5 response on representation, for example, will draw upon contexts, film form and key sequences in order to apply knowledge and understanding of elements of film. Assessment Objective 2. Just because these concepts aren't listed does not mean candidates should not refer to these concepts. It simply means that these are not the focal point of the question. Let's now look at some frequently asked questions about the advance information. Question 1. The advance information looks like we still need to cover the whole specification. Is this correct? As explained, due to the nature of film studies, no single concept for film can be studied in isolation. It is therefore advisable to cover the full requirements of the specification but focus revision on the areas listed in the advance information. This approach is consistent with other exam boards offering film studies. Question 2. For A-Level Component 1 Section A, do I need to teach representation of ethnicity and gender as listed in the advance information. I'm unable to answer this question without deviating from the principles that exam boards have agreed with Ofqual. However, I would advise centres to look at previous papers and the SAMs for examples of questions on representation. Question 3. Where the key elements of film form are listed, will the questions be about all of the key elements of film form? As stated in the JCQ guidance, the advance information should not be at a level that allows questions to be predicted. This means that when the key elements are listed, the question may focus on one or more of these elements, or the key elements more generally. Question 4. If the advance information doesn't list key elements of film form as a key revision area, do we still need to study them? The study of the key elements of film form is essential to meeting the assessment objectives of the qualification and should be studied for all films. This simply means that the key elements are not a focus of the question if they are not listed in the advance information. Question 5. Sometimes the specialist areas are listed, sometimes they aren't. Do we still need to study the specialist study areas if they are not listed? It is advisable to link the advanced information areas listed back to the overarching specialist areas of each section. Where a specialist area is listed, it means that this will be the primary focus of a question. Question 6. A-level film. Ideology is listed under Section B, not Section C. Is this correct? Yes. As stated in the specification on page 16, critical approaches to ideology may be assessed in sections B or C of the paper in any given series. Question 7. Sometimes in the advance information there are 3 bullet points or 1 bullet point, but within the exam there are 2 questions. What does this mean? Sometimes in the assessments there is an overlap within the questions, or both questions are focused on one topic area. If a candidate revises the concepts listed, then they will be in a position to answer any of the questions. Question 8. How should I cover representation of ethnicity if there is an overwhelming majority of white characters within my film? On page 10 of the specification, it states that learners must study all of their films in relation to representations of gender, ethnicity or age. This should be taught regardless of the advance information. While some of the current choices on the specification might not lend themselves to every group, centres are encouraged to analyse the absence of a representational group and link this to context. For example, all white worlds in films such as Vertigo link to the context of the time the film was made. Question 9. If I revise only the concepts listed on the advance information, is that enough? As stated, in order to meet the assessment objectives of the specification, candidates must study the concepts in relation to other areas of the course. Question 10. GCSE. There is no advance information listed for Component 1 Sections B and C. Does this mean these sections will not appear on the exam? The exam papers follow the same structure as other years, and sections B and C are present in 2022. Advance information for GCSE film is presented for Component 1 Section A only and all sections of Component 2. Advance information is not provided for Component 1 Sections B and C, as candidates have already access to the Film Technology Appendix for Section B and the Specialist Writing for Section C. To provide advance information for these sections would not be in line with the agreed principles. That brings us to the end of our FAQs. please refer to the Educast specification that can be found on the Educast website, www.educast.co.uk. Please look at previous papers for sample questions and how these may be worded. If you would like a resources guide on how to find these, then please email film@wjec.co.uk. I hope this recording has been useful to you. If you're a teacher and need further support, please do contact our subject team, whose details can be found on the Educast website.